Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with the Higher Vibrational Podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're so happy for you to join us today on this beautiful morning on a Tuesday. And what I want to tell you is that make sure you go to www.sherrylord.com because you can advertise through us. We would love to get you out there and help promote you, and we have very reasonable prices. And also, we have a very special guest, and we love her, and I've known her for quite a few years, and it's Deni Dreazen. She is a master tarot, a tarot teacher, and a psychic medium. She is also beautiful from the heart, and you can't wait to hear what she has to say. We love the conversation because a lot of people struggle with this, transitioning from student to practitioner to professional. Welcome, Deni. Thank you for being on our show.
Well, thank you, Sherry. And it's so nice to see you again. We haven't seen each other in a while, so it's very good to catch up. So thank you, and thank you for having me. This is a subject dear to my heart because I think that this is something that a lot of people struggle with. We are all attracted. We're not doing this. We're not coming to podcasts like this or going to readers or going to New Age stores without learning something, even if it's our very first crystal. And you know how that is. It's like potato chips. Oh, I learned about this. I want to learn more about that because we're all connected. You know that. And so what happens is you start to find your modality, your way. For me, early on, it was tarot. Yeah. And then as time went on, it blossomed into other things because we're always learning.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I think that we're attracted, my friend Christina calls it this woo-woo world, if you want to call it that, which I find very comfortable and, surrounded by spirit.
Absolutely.
One of the reasons we're so attracted is because we can pay it forward. Yeah. We can be of service. Oh, this helped me. I would love to help someone else through my knowledge of what I do. And a lot of people do that. But it comes to a point where all of a sudden somebody will say to you, well, what do you charge?
Yeah.
Or, where are you? How can I get a hold of you? And that little thing clicks back here and goes, well, I could be doing this and I could be of service. There's no reason that you can't be of service and charge for your services. Your doctor certainly does. Your hairdresser certainly does.
Yeah.
So, but how do you make that switch? It's not a switch, but how do you evolve into it? I think it's an evolution. I really do. So, you need to make a decision. First decision you need to make is to believe in yourself enough to be comfortable saying, yes, an hour costs this much. Or I think people expect to pay you. I think when we're first starting out, because everybody's got imposter syndrome, when we're first starting out, oh, it's so spiritual. I don't feel right taking money for doing a spiritual thing. And, it's making you small.
Yeah.
Don't stay small. Get big. Get out there. How are we going to bring the darkness to the consciousness of the light unless we get out there and shine? I think it was Marianne Williamson who said, who are you to hide your light under a basket?
Yeah.
You got to get out and shine. That's part of why you've been attracted to this, because you can pay it forward, because you can help somebody else who maybe is right there, but just needs something to uplift them or to make them understand what's going on with them. And hopefully they'll go forward and do it for other people. So the first thing you got to decide is, hey, what are you going to charge? because first thing that's going to happen, you're not, it would be lovely if we could all, open our doors and and say, put a sign up, the psychic is in, and have everybody come running to our doors, but that doesn't happen. Generally, it's word of mouth. It's going to fairs. It's doing events like yours. It's showing. You have to show up.
Yeah, you got to show up. You got to. Yeah, you got to show up.
and that's your beginning. And along with that, whatever classes or gatherings that you can participate in, that you learn more by working with other people of like minds, show up for that too. Don't think, okay, I got it, I can go do this. Always be learning, always be refining, and it just makes you more comfortable with what you're putting out there. Know your stuff. Just know your stuff. Yeah. And if that means classes, but the main thing is do it all the time. Live it. Live it. You decided to become professional doing this, then you have to be that person. You have to absolutely live your life as who you are. If you're not authentic, people are going to know.
Yeah.
They just are. So, yeah, get your cards made. First and foremost.
Big idea for cards. Yep.
First thing, designer, even if it's not the card that you're going to use always, get a card made.
Yep.
Vistaprint. I think there's something called One Print or something like that. There's a whole bunch of places out there. There's Canva. There's all kinds of places to go to design it. Or ask a friend who's really good with their computer to design it for you on one of those platforms. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I think cards are under $30 now for 100 cards. It's not that bad. So, and then when people say, what do you do? Oh, I will tell them I'm a psychic medium. I teach tarot. I read tarot. I've been doing this for many years.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, well, do you have a card? Yep. And hand them your card.
Yeah, they will ask for the cards.
Yeah. Now, a lot of times people are card collectors. They just are.
Yep.
And also, the journey is about discovering your strengths, who you are, what you are. When I started out way back, early childhood, my father was an undertaker. He'd walk in the door and I'd talk to the people that came home with him.
Oh.
And my mother would run out and go, shh, shh, people will think you're crazy. But I lived in the house of spirits.
Yeah.
And I was always getting messages and stuff like that. That doesn't happen for everybody. But I think it happens more than people realize. They just don't recognize it.
Exactly.
I really do. So when you get to that place where you're really understanding what's going on, and I think we all go through this spiritual evolution our entire lives, and some tap in a little, and some tap in a lot. There's not a right or wrong about any of that.
Yeah.
So when I was about 12, my mom let me buy a deck of tarot cards.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what they were. I mean, I knew what they were and what they were used for, but I didn't know anything about them. But they had people on them. And so I would put them out in front of me and make up stories. Like this guy went to the market and this guy was, and I do that in my classes. We play a game. We go in order and we pick a card and we tell the story, and then somebody picks a card and continues the story. The idea is just get to know your modality. Get to know it so well that it's your best friend.
Yeah.
And so I started with that. And again, like everybody else, I don't want to charge. I don't know. And little by little, I was asked to do parties. People started coming. And it was spotty. Yeah. And then I realized that I really had to absolutely dive in and be there. Like I was just saying, and be that person who does this, who actually is this. So you get your cards and you tell your friends. Yeah. And of course, we've all got friends that we're going to say, nah, just come over. But you hope that they'll tell their friends and their friends will come and pay you. That's how it starts out a lot. So, so after that, look around for fairs, for events that you might be able to participate. My first one here in town, and actually I have you to thank, because when I walked into your room that day, the first time I ever met you, and you looked at me and you said, well, you've got the gift. Why aren't you doing this? So you really kind of were the one who gave me the push. And when I moved back here to Sarasota, you had an event, and I went to the event, and that's where I started meeting people to really get beyond that dabbling kind of thing.
Yeah. Because people do dabble, and that's okay too. But then there's a time of, let's do it, let's just do it. Yeah.
Well, I think also as you're dabbling, you're opening, and what happens is, spirit comes in and goes, oh, she's opening up. I'm going to give her a message. I'm going to see where she's at.
They're trusting themselves. They're they're learning and they're growing. Yeah.
And I think for me, the best thing about being professional and doing this all the time is the people I meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the connections I make. And I think that's really what life is about, is the connections and the uplifting we can do for others. So when I came back and I just started putting myself out there, I went to a psychic fair here in town for the first time. And little by little, I picked up clients. Yeah. I kept every psychic fair I could find. I put myself into it.
Wow.
And little by little, people started knowing. And in the meantime, about the Spirit University here in Sarasota.
Yeah.
So I found my way over there because they had classes that I wanted to take. And, it's we all support each other. If you can find a tribe, and support each other. And so it really, partially going out there and doing this as a professional is networking.
Yeah.
It's talking to other people who do this.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, the people who are in our business are going to say, oh yeah, you should talk to so-and-so. He is great. They'll be glad to talk to you.
Yep.
And you find this all the time. And all of a sudden you have this huge, huge circle of friends and supporters.
Yeah.
And I also found that, the detractors they fall away. They, they just vibrate out, and that's okay. I know another thing that was very helpful to me was listening to other channels, people who are channeling and that sort of thing. There's always a gem you can take. Yeah. Make that part of yourself. Make that part of who you are as you put it out there. We're none of us are talking about anything terribly different. We come at it in our own way.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not going to resonate to everybody. That's okay. Somebody will resonate to what they need to resonate to. And because what is it? Energy. It's all about energy. So bottom line, I'm going the long way, but I was working at one of the local stores for a while, and that was great because I was consistently doing my work. Yeah. So if you can get a job where you're consistently working, that's great. But don't feel bad if that doesn't happen. That doesn't make you less than or anything like that. There's marketing strategies. There's there's natural awakenings. You can put a little, if you want to, put a little ad in the classifieds. You need a place to work. I'm fortunate I have an office at my house, so I can work on my house. Zoom has been wonderful, and also this wonderful platform of StreamYard. Use social media. Make reels. get used to talking, get used to a camera on you.
Yeah.
And at first it's hard. Remember those early things we used to do when we were talking about, and if we look back on them now, we go, oh my God, what were we thinking? But it was successful.
Yeah.
So just be comfortable in your skin, I think, is a big piece of it.
They got to step out of the comfort zone there.
Yeah.
And once they do, they start to get their own confidence, and it starts to build in their confidence, is what I hear you saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good point, because I think it's true. You know what you're doing, you know what it's all about. You're clear on your connection, but everybody gets stage fright. You're not confident. And so the only thing you can do is do it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that helped me most is doing those reels, just getting out there on social media and not worrying. I mean, you look at a lot of stuff, there's a lot of silly stuff out there. So, just.
Absolutely.
So, and then, you know what? You're in a business. You are your business.
It's important to treat it as a business. That's a really good topic. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Even down to getting your 1099 forms and paying attention to what kind of money you're making. You have to file a 1099 form if you're making over $600 as an independent contractor. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, you're not going to earn that kind of money, but as it adds up, you're going to have an obligation, and you should do it, because a lot of employers or people who hire you just even for one thing are going to pay their taxes, and they're going to send you a 1099 slip. And if they've reported it, you better report it.
Yeah.
So, and that seems like a very mundane thing to think about. But as you said, think you're your business. That means when you walk out the door, you're that person.
Yeah.
And you're in a business, you make money, that's okay. More importantly, you're in a service business.
Yeah, it's service. Yeah.
And so you have to balance that. So when you're doing something professionally, you have to balance your connection with the job you're doing. I'm very fortunate. I'm doing the psychic tour of Sarasota with Discover Sarasota Trolleys.
Now that is interesting. Tell us more about that, because that was new for me to hear about that in Sarasota. And the people that are coming, there's people that live here that may not even know about it in Florida, but there's people who come seasonal. Mm-hmm. That it's nice to let them know what's there. So can you tell us a little bit more about that and what this is about?
It was funny. As I said, I was always involved with spirit and talking to spirit, but tarot was my thing.
Yeah.
And then I started taking some classes at the Spirit University, and I learned how to structure my work, how I do it, so that I could have more consistency in my results. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, at first it was people would come through, and I didn't know how to actually talk and bring them through so that I could help somebody else. So, you learn. You find people who can teach it. You find people who do it, and you learn. There's places all over Sarasota. We are such a wonderful community for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got an email from the lady who runs Discover Sarasota Tour. Sorry, Discover Sarasota Tours is the name of the. I'll give you information on it later. There was a gentleman named Michael Newton Brown who started the Psychic Sarasota Sundays, and he passed, and she got a message from him. I knew him. Uh-huh. She got a message from him, and she called me and asked me if I would like to do it. I mean, there wasn't even an interview. And so, and she's the lady who owns is named Tammy Hauser, and she's lovely. And she's given me this wonderful opportunity. We get on the trolley, we go to Pixie Dust store. We go for a sound bath. We go over to the labyrinth over in Payne Park. And during the tour, I give everybody a little tiny tarot card and I read their tarot card. And then after we're through at the labyrinth, we pull over and I'll do about a 15-minute gallery reading and bring in spirits if they want to show up. That's the funny thing about being a medium. Sometimes, somebody will come through and somebody's saying, well, I was hoping so-and-so would come through. And like, well, this one's here. So, what are you going to do? But it's thinking on your feet. You have to think on your feet. You're getting a lot of questions. You have to know where you are. So it's been amazing, and I love it. And the people who come, and I also afterwards you can sign up for a 15-minute tarot reading if you want to, after the trolley stops. So that's been kind of fun, and that's twice a month.
Do they go online for that? Is it online that they Google it?
You can Google Discover Sarasota Tours. I have their phone number if you want it, or
yeah, that'd be kind of nice for people that might want to experience that.
Let me see. Their phone number is 941-260-9818. And you can Google Discover Sarasota Tours. And we've got about 17 tours. I mean, there's a lot of fun. So come on my tour because I'd love to meet you.
It just sounds like a lot of fun.
It is, but we've got an architectural tour at night. They do the haunted Sarasota and they do mystery tours. It's a riot, and people don't know that about Sarasota, I think.
Yeah, I didn't even know that even existed. I think it's really nice information, good information.
And it also, remember, this is about why Sarasota is Sedona by the sea, as they say.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, or didn't know that, and didn't know the whole story, which I won't go into. Come see me and I'll tell you the story on the trolley. But anyway, and I know we're all over the map, but it's fun to talk to you. So back to being a professional. Start small, baby steps.
Yep.
But always have that place, do your work, do your grounding, make sure that you've done what you need to do to be in the place to be of highest good for who you're working for. I can't stress that enough. That is the main thing about doing what we do, is we're here to help somebody. Even if it's a tiny thing, that. Sometimes people look at you and go, no. And then they'll call you and they'll say, when you said this.
You just have to trust what you give and what you get. And sometimes it has to sink in. What I also teach is that, like you as a teacher, is give what you're getting, trust what you give, let them decide what they want to decipher of it when they walk out the door. But just know you gave what they were meant to hear and allow them to choose what they want to hear.
Exactly.
Easy way of saying it. Yeah.
If it doesn't resonate, let it go. But trust is a biggie. And again, that's the first thing I teach my tarot students. First thing you got to do is trust. Trust that's what's coming through is meant for you to know. And if you feel called to be doing this work, then open yourself up to being professional at it and letting a lot of people in.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to do that. I get that. And some people only want to do private. Yeah. And I get that too. When you're doing a private reading, you want to set up your sacred space no matter what you're doing, whatever it is you do. But when you're doing a private reading, you want to bring the person you're reading for into a space where they can be open to whatever needs to come through for them.
Yeah.
And you need to tell them, hi, I'm Deni. I'm a tarot reader, tarot teacher, medium.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that we're going to talk a lot. There's going to be a lot said. Whatever resonates to you, keep it. If it doesn't resonate, let it go. And I always like to, even on the trolley, I will start with a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I will start with bringing in spirit. Sometimes I get a lot of rolled eyes. That's okay. But, well, a lot of times there's people on the trolley who just, I just came with my friend, But,
Yeah.
And you want to create the atmosphere, whether it's a trolley, whether you're standing on a stage with 40 people, to 100 people, to 200 people in the audience. I was at Teresa Caputo in April when she was here. And I was very fortunate. I had a seat, and the aisle in front of me was open. So she was walking right by me, and I watched her work. Go watch other people work.
Yeah.
Get an idea. I could see how comfortable she was. But I also know they had a meet and greet, and I met her briefly, before. And I know she went back and sat and probably meditated and probably got herself into the place where she was open. When you're out there, I think that's might be a big fear that people say, well, if I'm out there, and what if I forget, or what if I'm not? So you have to make sure you're connected before you go ahead and work with people, because they'll know. You can't fake this stuff, and they'll know. And you've hurt them in some way, and you've hurt yourself. So get comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think, the energy is different when you're doing a big thing, or like me doing the trolley, or getting on stage to do something, as opposed to a small, intimate thing. Either way, and you can decide. That's a nice thing about what we do. You decide where you want to be, what your niche is, and make that work. Make it work for you, and make it work for the people you're working with. So, stories are good.
Yeah.
Come up, tell stories. I just told you about my father being an undertaker. I probably everybody who knows me knows the story because I tell it all the time. But it's very pertinent to who I am and what I do and where I come from. And people want to know that about you. They want to know that they know you. You can't be a stranger to somebody doing this. You have to find a connection. And I think that's the biggest thing. So you've got two connections. You've got your connection with yourself, and you've got your connection with the person or the people that you are reading for or working with. And so tell stories. Things happen all the time, the silliest things, And you know what? If you don't have stories, dig deep. You'll find them. You will.
There's a lot of examples and experiences one has in life, and it's nice to share them. And, Deni, thank you so much for being on our show. How can people get a hold of you? I mean, I know we have our stuff scrolling, but some people can remember by when you speak it.
Oh, sure.
Where are you going to be? Is there a phone number? Is there a Facebook? How can website? Yeah. How can they link with you?
Well, every Saturday, you'll find me teaching tarot at the Spirit University on Braden. It's just across from the airport. Just now, when you Google, it's the Spirit University. Don't leave off the or you'll get someplace else. And we have a wonderful newsletter, and we have a great website that'll tell you all about our programs and how to find me there. I also read on Fridays and Saturdays there. You can make an appointment for a tarot reading or a mediumship reading with me there. And then every other Sunday, I'm on the trolley. I'm available, of course, privately. I work with Zoom. My calendar, I have a booking page where you can just go and just book me for a Zoom reading, or you can actually put in there you want a private reading if that's the case. And that is Calendly, CALENDLY.com/small lowercase Deni, DENI Tarot, Tarot, one word. That's it. That's
Wow.
my booking page, and it'll spell out what you get and all of that. My website is once again under construction. See, that happens. Things change, and you have to change with it as you evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You really do. We talked about that. Yeah, you do. You can reach me at what's my email? THE B is in baby, F is in Frank, P is in Peter, the BFP. It really stands for the beautiful fairy princess. The BFP at gmail.com. So you can just shoot me an email and we can just talk and I can get you where you want to go. And not hard to find.
Well, thank you, Deni. We so love having you on our show. We bless you with success.
This was fast.
I know. And make sure everyone who's watching to go and check out that little trolley thing. I think that will be fascinating to experience, and make sure you look for Deni. Blessings to all, and thank everyone for joining us. We also have our information on our website. Go to www.sherrylord.com. Click on Spirituality and Authors Podcast, and you can see all of our guests and you'll get Deni's info. There's also a link there if that's easier for you. We just bless you and thank everybody with abundance, prosperity, and a healthy life. Thank you all, and thanking everyone, and thank you, Deni.
Thank you, Sherry. I hope we see you soon.
Yes.